Alrighty, hey everyone, welcome back. Happy Friday. Not today, it's not Friday. Today's Sunday. Jeez, I wish it was Friday. Have a nice another long weekend here. But today's Sunday. Bitcoin overall over the weekend didn't do much. It was pretty much flat, up a little bit overall, so that's pretty good here. We'll take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin. How are the miners doing here in the pre-hours as well? And then we'll take a look at how the miners did against Bitcoin here this past week. And let me get my stuff set up here. It's been a busy day here nonetheless. I had to take care of a bunch of stuff for work. End of year reviews are happening, so I had to go through a bunch of employee files and things like that. But catching up on things here as it is right now. So as always, you guys know the drill here. This is not financial advice for Tim only. As always, do your research and everything else on top of it. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously here. And let's take a look at what we got going on here with Bitcoin here over the weekend as it is right now. And here's what we got. So Bitcoin obviously had a pretty good day here on Friday. It was up 3.08% there, which is a good day for us on Friday. Saturday, we were up just a little bit, 0.26%. Sunday, we were up a little bit as well, 0.36%. On the new day for Monday, we're up a little bit here. So is the Santa rally going to continue here? Hard to tell right now. The good thing is we are still above 80,000 on Bitcoin, so that's a good sign here. We have reached new higher lows at least. Right, we reached one here back on December 1st. This one here, at least right now, if it sticks, was back on December 18th here, just a couple of days ago. And we've been going back up higher here at that point here. Friday, we also had, obviously, the Bank of Japan raising interest rates, right, to 0.75%, I believe that it's at right now. And things actually went up at that point. So a lot of the selling that we were seeing here before that, I think, was just tied to that, where a lot of the trades were being unwound, possibly. Money was being moved over, and things are calming down now at least, right? CPI data came in really good last week as well. Jobs came in pretty good also. So this does kind of mean that we might be getting some more rate cuts happening here in January, but time will tell. So we have a couple more days here before Christmas. Could we get a couple of days of a nice little rally here? Possibly. I'm not expecting anything major there though, unfortunately. Because it's the end of the year here, we're going to see obviously institutions, hedge funds, mom and pop stands as well. We're going to be probably taking some profits here at the end of the year. So it's going to still be volatile, I think, in the long run here. But I'd love to see a nice little rally here going into the end of the year, but I doubt that's going to happen there. We'll take basically a wash, right? If we can stay at these levels, at least for Bitcoin, I'd be happy at that. And then we can start out the new year doing much, much better here going forward on that. Okay, miners, we talked about them. They had a really good day on Friday. We talked about it on Friday when that happened here. As far as how the miners are doing here after hours right now, well, let's take a look at that as well. We'll update these here. We have Bitdeer being up just a little bit, 1.36%. Bitfarms here is up. Wow, Bitfarms is up nicely, 8.7% here after hours right now, or pre-hours actually. Not sure what's causing that one. Let's take a look at that one if there's any. I mean, I don't think there's going to be any news on it. On Bitfarms here, if we look at that, yeah, I don't see. Let me see, refresh this really quick to get an updated number here. Do we have anything happening here? Don't need. Let's see here. Any news here out? I mean, okay, Citi projects Bitcoin could reach 143,000. Analysts note a shift in focus from Bitcoin price to structural signals, highlighting potential breaks in its 4-year end of cycle. Man, okay, maybe that's it. I mean, 1 hour ago, Asian markets open, Bitcoin steady at 80. Okay, I mean, there's nothing really happening here for Bitfarms, but why is it up 8% here pre-hours? Almost 8.5, a little bit over 8.5%. So that's actually looking pretty good here for Bitfarms here coming into Monday. Let's take a look at Kango here, pre-hours right now. It is, let's see, did I refresh it? I did refresh it. It's flat. Okay, Cypher right now, pre-hours here is up 2.53%. So these guys here are doing pretty good here. Overnight hours, let's see here. This one is up, Cleanspark's up 2.33%. CORZ Scientific is up 0.96%. Hive, let's take a look at that one. That one's up 1.77% here. Hut 8 is up 1.99%. IREN right now is up 4.76%. Mara Holdings is up 1.28%. Then we got Riot here. Riot is up 1.31%. So maybe we'll get a center rally in the miners here, not maybe Bitcoin here. We'll see. Why did that one crash on me? Why is it finance.yahoo? There it goes. Okay. TerraWolf is up 2.16%. So maybe we do get a little center rally in the miners this week. It's going to be a short week. We got basically, what is it, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of trading, and then we're probably going to be off, I think, Thursday, Friday, we're back trading. I don't know if it's going to be a half day or not on that one, but at least right now it's looking pretty good here for Monday. We'll see where we end up at. But we've seen this before also. We've seen where the miners are up pre-hours and then they crash in the actual day. So we'll see where things go at that point. A couple of good things that we have here. Bitcoin here right now is down a little bit, 1.87% here in the month of December, so that's not too bad there. The Bitcoin ETF inflows for Friday are coming in as a negative 158 million right now as it is. The Fed Watch tool here for next Fed meeting in January, how does that stack up? Well, they're still getting at 21% here, possibility of a Fed rate cut happening at that point. Some good news stories that we do have here though. This is pretty cool. So this is huddle onto your nuts, boys. Per Bridgewater Associates, Ray Dalio shop there. They are quoted here saying, given the immense potential of AI technologies, we believe companies will spend whatever it takes to keep up the race to develop leading models and make sure they don't miss out on access to the necessary resources. Stock market corrections or modest increases in credit spreads don't change the underlying reality of this dynamic. And I agree with that wholeheartedly as well, right? It is a race in this AI space between a bunch of companies, right? You got Anthropic, you got Grok from XAI, you got Gemini from Google, you got also Meta. I think Meta is Llama, I believe, if I'm not mistaken there. I don't use Facebook or Meta stuff there. Who else do we have here? We got OpenAI, obviously, in the space as well. These guys are all going to be expanding a lot of capital here in the next year to build this stuff out as possible. So that bodes well for us here. This is from the Kobesi letter there. DA boom is accelerating. U.S. tech companies are committing to spend a combined $569 billion on data center leases over the next several years. A lease is a long-term rental agreement, meaning these companies commit to multi-year payments for data centers, offices, and warehouses without owning them up front. This represents a 187 billion or a 53% increase from Q2 of 2025. Oracle alone added 148 billion in new lease commitments in Q3, bringing total data center lease obligations to 248 billion. Some of these leases can last up to 19 years, locking Oracle into massive fixed costs regardless of future AI demand. Tech companies are making massive bets on AI, which is true. Where you can see here the 500 billion in future future data center lease loom here. Tech giants are on the hook for significant future costs here, and you can see that on the chart here. In Q3 of 2025, that is increasing, and it's only going to continue to increase here as well. And this is only from ChatGPT, it looks like, released on that from Bloomberg. But this is not going to go away anytime soon here. This is going to be just a continuation of an increased spending going forward for these companies as they all are trying to, well, possibly simplify our lives, make them more meaningful, make them better and overall, whether it's going to be through robotics, through medicine technologies, health, prolonged lifespans as well for people. Going forward, there's a lot of possibilities here with AI going forward, especially once it gets to like general AI, what do they call it? AIG, I think, or whatever, artificial intelligence in general. And then if you look into like super intelligence for AI, we're going to be in the glory days, I guess you'd say, of AI at that point. But this is not going to stop anytime soon. Have we had a hiccup here recently? Yes. We've had a hiccup basically from the FUD of, well, there's been a bunch of FUD. I'm not going to get into it because we talked about it already so many times here, but I'm not going to talk about it now. But there's been some FUD. The FUD is, I think, cooling off here. We're seeing also these companies here generating a lot of revenue from AI right now as it is. So it's nowhere near to what the bubble we saw back in, 1999, 2000 mark when we had the the internet bubble at that point, right? So completely different here overall. And then this is from Matthew Siegel as well. Georgia regulators approve huge electric generation increase for data centers here. So Georgia, we have I think we only have really one company that's in Georgia right now. If we look at Georgia here, we got, I believe it is just, let's see if we zoom out here really quick, go to Georgia. We got actually maybe two companies in here. A lot of the companies that are in there right now is Cleanspark. Those are the yellow dots here. Cleanspark has locations all throughout Georgia there. And this one is from CORZ. So CORZ is a Dalton facility as well. Everything else here that I at least track is from Cleanspark. And Cleanspark does have a lot of facilities there. So that could bode well for Cleanspark going forward as they try to build out their data center sites and convert them into HPC AI sites as well from Bitcoin mining sites. Right, some of the sites in Atlanta might be a better suited option there, but you never know about these other sites here that we have here. One is in Washington with 36 megawatts, small site. Sandersville is 80 megawatts. You got Twin Cities with 5.9, and then Vidalia is 60 megawatts. What's this one over here? This one is Lafayette, unknown on that one. But we do have this, which is College Park, which is 47. And this one over here is Norcross, which is 20 megawatts right now as it is. But I think they can expand that out even more. So that should bode well for Cleanspark there. But this is all going to be really good for all these companies that are getting into AI. Cleanspark, Bitfarms, Hut 8. I would say even, well, I don't know, Hive doesn't have any operations in the United States here, but I think BitDeer, Riot, Mara, if they ever decide to get into AI. I know they've been talking about it a little bit here, but everybody else, right, that we talked about here, Riot, IREN, all of these guys will benefit greatly from the spend here that's going to be happening here. And these hyperscalers need megawatts, and the Bitcoin miners have the megawatts available right now for the most part, right? There's some stuff that's going to be delayed into 2026 and 2027 as well, but for the most part, they have a lot of megawatts that are available right now, which should bode really well for them going forward. So I think 2026 is going to be a great year here. We saw 2025 being a really good year also, where a lot of these guys have gotten contracts, leases from companies, from hyperscalers. And I think that's going to continue here going into 2026 as well, maybe even increase in intensity as things progress here. So time will tell, but I believe that's going to be the case there. All right, there's that. And then how did Bitcoin miners do against Bitcoin here this past week? Well, we always look at this chart here, which is how did the miners do from their bottoms in the last 52 weeks to where they are right now and how far away they are from their 52-week highs as well. On this chart, and we can see here the Cypher is still up huge here from its bottom this past 52 weeks. It's up 771% here. IREN's up 678%. TeraWolf's up 507%. Hut's up 340% roughly. Bitfarms up 276% roughly. CORZ up 151%. Riot 134%. Hive 124%. Cleanspark 86%. BitDeer up 61%. Kango 38%. Bitcoin's only up 18%. 18.5% roughly. And then you got Marathon being only up 5.9% along with Strategy there. Something to note there, both of those companies have a huge HODL position, right? Mara over 50-some thousand Bitcoin. Last was reported there. Strategy, obviously over, I think, 600,000 Bitcoin there. And those have underperformed Bitcoin here even in the last 52 weeks from their bottoms, which is kind of interesting to know. But again, Marathon has not been talking much about AI at all. They've been buying up a site or trying to buy a portion of a company that does AI data centers in Europe and things like that. But other than that, it has definitely been lagging here overall. Everybody else here, Cypher, IREN, TeraWolf, Hut, Bitfarms have outperformed Bitcoin by a huge, huge X multiple at this point right now. And so they obviously are not driven by Bitcoin potential. They're driven by AI potential here. And that is only going to increase here into 2026 as the demand is going to continue to increase for data centers. And obviously you need a lot of megawatts, and a lot of these guys do have the megawatts here. So I think some of these guys that have been maybe not performed quite as well, like I'm thinking maybe BitDeer, Cleanspark, as well as even like Riot, can do even better here this year if they get some kind of deals or something like that happening forward. But also the other guys that have gotten deals already, Cypher, IREN, TeraWolf, Hut 8, right? Bitfarms is trying to get a deal there as well, but hasn't gotten one yet. Those guys still can perform really well going forward if they continue to get more deals going forward as well. And then on the bottom chart here, you can see how far the miners are away from their 52-week highs. A lot of these guys are down quite a bit, 64% for like Strategy. Bitcoin's even down 56% from its high here, 52-week high at least. Hive is almost 64%, BitDeer 60%, right? Bitfarms is even 61, almost 62% there. And then the others are around 40, almost 50, 30%, 20% down from where they were just recently within the last 12 weeks or so. As far as last week, Bitcoin miners did not so great. Kango was the only one that did actually pretty good here. It was up 21%. Hut 8 was up 7%. BitDeer was up 3%. IREN was down 1%. Bitcoin was down 2% there. So those four have outperformed Bitcoin here this past week. Cypher, Riot being down 5%. CORZ down 6%. Strategy down 7%. Hive down 8%, along with Bitfarms. Marathon was down 12. TerraWolf was down 13. And Cleanspark got beat up the most here last week. It was down 14%. And then looking at the 4 weeks time frame, Kango is the only one that's actually up here, up 3%. Bitcoin at that point is down 3% here. Everybody has pretty much underperformed Bitcoin to that time frame, except for HUT. HUT 80 is only down 2% overall. Everybody else is 18, 17, 20%, 10%, 8, 7, 16, 27, 14, 19, 20% down from 4 weeks ago. From 8 weeks ago, it looks even worse here. Everybody has underperformed Bitcoin. Bitcoin's down 20%. Actually, I shouldn't say that. 2 companies have better performance, Cypher and HUT 8 there. Everybody else has underperformed there by a large margin there. And on a 12-week short time frame, things look a little different here. We got Bitcoin being down 28%, and we got HUT 8, Cypher actually still being positive, TerraWolf along with them being positive. All of these guys have, HUT 8 has gotten obviously a deal here recently this past week. That has helped that one out, but everybody else is down. I mean, look at it in strategy. Strategy's down 53% from the last 12 weeks ago, while Bitcoin's only down 28% here. But BitDeer, Marathon down 46% here. Hive even down 36%. All of these guys have gotten beaten down in the last 12 to 16 weeks or so since they peaked back in, I think it was September or so. Right? And a lot of this stuff was based on FUD in the markets. A lot of manipulation also happening in the markets. These guys had a huge run up in price leading up to it in September. And then they came back crashing down here. But still, right, looking at where we are right now, even in the last 52 weeks from their lows, they're still up tremendously compared to Bitcoin here. And you can see it was definitely a more red bracket here that we're seeing on the miners compared to Bitcoin even. There's only a couple that are still in the green brackets here, but for the most part, everything is in the red for us right now. And you can see that we had one good week here back in 11/28. We were pretty much green across the board there. Other than that, we've had pretty much red weeks going all the way back here. Then we were kind of mixed here overall on some of these things as things have progressed. Okay, so that is it. That's all I got for you guys. I'll update the spreadsheet for the Patreon members later tomorrow. Link for that is down in the description if you want to join and help support what I do. You get access to all the spreadsheets and everything else that I got. All right, that is it. Let's get into Q&A here. Call it a day. It's late already as it is. We're going on 10:30, my time at least. Might be later for you guys, or it might be actually morning for some of you guys as well. But greatly appreciate you guys coming in, as always. Let's take a look at what we got going with the questions. If you could preface those with a question mark or a Q, I would appreciate it. And let's see, we don't have too many comments, so that is going to be good. Here, we'll be done shortly. All right, Mark says, I'm tired, boss. We're all tired, right? It's been a good year, but it has been definitely a challenging year nonetheless. If you got in at much better prices, you're doing pretty good. If you got in at higher prices, you're probably not happy right now as it is. You may have to hold on to it for a little bit longer there. Rob says, Bitfarms is rising after hours, probably because it's been added to the S&P TSX, but that was added on Friday. That could be also part of it. So that might be it. Let's see. Rob says, play that song, Fix You by Coldplay. Let's celebrate, okay? I probably heard that song, but I just don't know it by name. What else we got here? SK, what is your 2026 IREN price target, and how did you calculate? I think right now it should be somewhere around $140, to be honest with you, just based on the revenue they're going to be generating for at the end of next year, right? So if we look forward to the revenues, that's kind of where I think they should be, as long as they don't dilute a crap ton of shares. I would say they should be probably around $140, roughly somewhere around there. Okay, and then what's your Bitfarms 2026 price target as well? Bitfarms for me, let me see if I got that one. I should have it. At least right now where we're at. We don't know if they're going to get a deal for AI or anything like that, but based on where they are right now, I think they should be somewhere between 463 and 695, somewhere between there at least. That's at least my thoughts on it. So somewhere around $5, I would say, somewhere in the middle between that. Like 525, 550, maybe something like that is where they probably should be valued at right now. And I think they will get there if, I think the sentiment is changing in the AI space as it is right now. So I think these guys will benefit from it along with everybody else. But yeah, they're still definitely way undervalued from where they should be. Sadie sometimes says happy solstice. Thank you. And thank you for the likes as always. Sadie's got a question here. Hi, Seb. Last year you weren't sure about HPC AI, and now you're saying we are going to have 2026. What changed of your opinion on 180 degree? Okay. That was based on what IREN was saying at the time. So I was skeptical on the AI space for the miners getting it. I honestly thought that the hyperscalers would be just buying these companies out and, saying the heck with it, with doing any kind of lease deals or anything like that. And the reason I said that was because we saw Core Scientific get a bid to be bought out by CoreWeave, right? So I was thinking that makes more sense for him to do that, I thought, but maybe it doesn't. I don't know. The other portion of that was IREN in the beginning when they were running the H100s first came out and said that they're looking like it would be like a 2-year return on investment. Then later on they came in like, it's going to be more like 2.5 years. And then we heard like around 3 years within, probably I would say within 6 months or so. So that got me a little bit concerned here on that side of things. But as we've seen deals other than just CoreWeave or come in for Core Scientific, we've seen other deals from TeraWolf, right? We've seen deals also for like Cypher and now IREN as well. I think the demand is there. And I was a little skeptical on the demand there. I thought, like I said, I thought the hyperscalers were going to buy out these companies, right? They were dirt cheap at that point, which I'm still surprised they didn't do that at that point. I mean, they could have bought them out for a couple $1 billion at that time, and they would have had access to all these megawatts. But for whatever reason, they didn't want to go that route. They wanted to go co-location or just bare metal lease on the architecture of their hardware. So that's why it's kind of changed. And once we started seeing more and more of these deals coming through, it's like, okay, this is the way it's going to go going forward. And that's what kind of changed on it, right? You have to kind of adapt as things progress. All right. Let's see. Daniel, thank you so much. Smash likes for continuous HPCI BTC miners alpha on this channel. I appreciate that. SKS, has IREN bottomed out? I think it has. I think most of these things have bottomed out. It's the end of the year. We could go down a little bit more on some of these things because of locking in gains right now at the end of the year. But yeah, I think we've kind of bottomed out here on some of these things. I mean, the fear and greed index was really low already recently, so I think we're there. Daniel, let's see here. I hear about China building data centers underwater and a theory about building data centers in space. Well, Microsoft tried building data centers underwater. They did a couple small data centers, like these containers. They were submersible in water that would stay cooler, but it doesn't seem like that has worked out. So I don't know if there's any benefit to being underwater. Space, I think space makes a little bit more sense there at that point because you get all the solar rays from the sun. You can have a lot more energy being captured because of the solar panels there. So I think that makes a little bit more sense. And if you can get rid of a lot of the unneeded stuff at that point, right? Like the cooling for the water cooling systems. I think that's what a large portion of this systems there is, like the cooling, to cool the chips, cool everything else. If you can take that out and just put the computers up in there and have them be, have radiant, basically, cooling at that point, not obviously having the chips facing the sun, but facing away from the sun. And then if you can do some kind of radiators, which they're doing already right now, I think that might be a better way to go once we basically use up all the energy that's available here on the planet right now as it is. So that's kind of where I would lean into. Sauer says, I'm big time bullish, but this downturn ain't over yet. You might be right there, right? We might still go down a little bit. I'm not sure. I think we've kind of bottomed out here, but time will tell. Rob says, year here that folks, Seb said that Bitfarms share price should be 5. We are undervalued. Grab some shares. There you go. I've been seeing for Bitfarms for a long time, right? But we've been through very turbulent times with Bitfarms over the last, I would say, year and a half even. Ever since Riot tried to buy them out and things like that, it was just not a great, I would say, 18 to 24 months for Bitfarms here. But they're doing in the right things. They're going in the right direction as well, so that's good there. And I got a sneeze coming up. Excuse me. All right. Rob says, if Amazon wanted to buy out Bitfarms, what share price would really get $5 a share? I mean, yeah, they would have to probably pay a little bit more premium. I would say maybe $7 to $9, somewhere around there. They got to pay a little bit of a premium, I think, because of the potential there. Yeah. Excuse me again. Allergies are kicking in again tonight. Let's see. Mark, Cleanspark made some noise about AI and just became silent. No further action they have done so far to indicate they are actively pursuing AI contracts. It takes time. Just like we saw it take time with IREN. I mean, IREN, it took almost a year for them to get contracts. A little over a year, I think, from when they got into it. As well with Cypher Terrawolf was like one of the first ones at bat there, but they had Stanley Druckenmiller being an investor there. I think that helped provide some pathways for them to get deals faster, right? With Core 42, and then they got who was the other one? Fluid Stack, I believe, was the other one there as well. So I think that kind of helped out, but it takes time. Let's see here. Rob, building data centers underwater is complete disaster, especially if you get a leak. Well, yeah, if you get a leak, I mean, the whole thing is. But it's the same thing in space, right? If you build a constellation data center, basically was what it would be at that point. If you have one of those GPUs go down for whatever reason, it's not like you can go up there and fix it. You basically just have to take that one as a loss at that point. Excuse me. So your only options at that point would be to either send the thing back down to Earth, let it burn up, or just leave it up there as it is at that point, right? So it's not ideal either way, but I think you get, if we get the cost to ship things into outer space low enough, I think it'll make much more sense at that point. Oh, false alarm. Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze again. Let's see. Rob says, do you think Ben Bitfarms would sell out to Amazon and retire, or would he not sell and try and keep Bitfarms in the game instead? It would depend, obviously, on the uptake, on the price of the stock there. If he can make the shareholders pretty wealthy and himself at that point, I think he might do it, right? Money talks, right? It has to be given up to the board, and the board has to decide. And if the board agrees with it, then, right, that's the same way it's going to go with kind of like Core Weave. Excuse me, and Core Scientific there. But yeah, that's kind of the way I would think. If the deal is good enough, I think they would possibly go for it. Let's see, your leak supports. Buying Kleenex calls for SEP tomorrow. I appreciate that. Yeah, every once in a while I get these allergy attacks, and they come in waves sometimes, unfortunately. But yeah, like I said, I was definitely skeptical on AI for the miners in the beginning. But things have definitely changed in that regard. We're seeing more and more of these deals being made with these AI companies, Bitcoin mining companies. So I think there's more legs to it going forward. And the deals that we are seeing here are very, very good for these companies as well. Some better than others, but overall, it's still really, really good, which has made the stocks appreciate quite nicely here in the interim, at least. Rob asks, what state are you in, Seb? I am in, I don't know if I want to say the great state of Illinois, but I'm in the state of Illinois. Let's see. Leak support says, you missed my comment above. Any chance you can get to it? Oh, I did miss it. Sorry about that. Okay, here it is. Leak supports. Do you have BitDeer's and Mara's cost to mine from the past quarter or current? Seems they are the only two companies that want to really keep adding mining rigs. Most have started to shift or drift away. Yeah, I do have that. Let me see here. Cost to mine. Where's it at? And this is an estimated cost to mine based on where they were in Q3. Forward, is this the break-even part? Okay. All right, this is it. So this is an estimate, right, based on some numbers that we do have from Q3 results, extrapolating that into where they are right now as of whenever they last reported, right? So Mara hasn't reported in the last couple of months, so it's kind of hard to tell where they are right now. But if we look at it here, you can see it here. BitDeer, I got them at 77,000 at least right now as they improve their fleet and get more efficient machines installed. That should help out and also go down. And then Mara was at 89,000 here, right? This is just cash cost, does not include any, without share-based compensation, right? Along with, I don't think it includes also depreciation in that as well. So that's kind of where I see them at least right now. And you can see where everybody else is as well. Okay, but it's estimated plus or minus 10%. I'm guessing somewhere around there, just to be fair overall. Okay. And let's go back here. All right. Covered that one. All right. Essex says $7 will be a 3.5 billion. Absolutely very cheap. 10 to 15 billion market cap is more reasonable. 17. Okay. I would love to see them to get to that point. If they get a deal with the hyperscaler, I think they could possibly get there, but that would be definitely a lot more megawatts than they currently have. Well, as they change out things, it could be possible. Eric says, we'll never put a data center in space. That's crazy talk. We have centuries of cheap energy and labor here already. Please don't discredit yourself by giving that meme credits. It's silly talk. Well, it's not silly talk. How much does it cost to build out a data center? You're looking at $10 to $15 million per megawatt, right? So if you don't need to build the infrastructure, all the cement that's needed there, all the redundancies, all of the cooling and everything else, that's a huge savings. And if you can launch it up at a much lower cost, it makes much more sense to put it up in space where you get constant power from the sun for free. It doesn't cost you anything at that point. You launch it up there, you're done, right? So don't think it's something that's out of the ordinary or something that's wacky there, because you're hearing from Google, you're hearing it from XAI as well, you're hearing it from others also, NVIDIA and others. They're all talking about it. There's got to be some reason for that, right? All right, Essay says, Bitfarms is my number one pick in 2026 because Vera Rubin needs a place to sleep, and Bitfarms is going to be the largest hotel for it. Yeah, they will. They're building out their Washington site. Sorry, my nose is running. Is building out their Washington site to be capable of holding the Vera Rubins there, which is great. And but other companies can do the same thing. You got IREN that's building out data centers. They can more than definitely get the Vera Rubins in there as well. Cypher, Hut 8 possibly as well. All of these guys are going to be going for that anyways, going forward here. Okay. Okay, I think that's it. I think I've got to all your guys' questions here. We got one more from Rob coming in here. Let's see. Rob says, so get more shares of Bitfarms. I was waiting for more of a dip on those. I did buy Bitfarms and Cleanspark and Cypher, 3-4 weeks ago. When they dipped pretty heavily at that point, kind of where they bottomed out. I was hoping for another dip here. We haven't seen, they went up, they dipped a little bit more, but I was looking for a little bit more of a dip to buy below where I bought before, but I haven't gotten it yet. So I'm holding on to what I have at least right now, but if we do dip even more, I will buy at that point. All right, that's it. We'll call it a day here before my allergies totally kick my butt here and I start sneezing up a storm and snorting like an idiot. But greatly appreciate you guys coming in, and gals, as always, coming in here. Greatly love you for that. Love you anyways. I will see you guys later on tomorrow. On Monday, we'll see where we go. It's going to be a short week here for us, but we'll cover whatever happens at that point. Love you all. I'll see you guys then. Bye.